Welcome to the Red Pill Awareness Need a Conversation for Men podcast. I am one of your hosts, Herb. I am here with my brother and the other host,
Jason Dick, peace.
So we are back with another show, and I think we're going to make this show the vocabulary show. And the reason for that is I was talking to a few people, my brother and some friends, and about the previous shows. And when I was talking and I was saying certain things and using certain terminology and stuff like that, I realized that some of my brothers weren't aware of what some of these things meant, or they heard it but wasn't really sure. And it dawned on me like maybe I need to dedicate an episode for some of the more common terms that we use so far throughout the show. So I think we're going to do every so often we're going to have these shows where we just kind of discuss certain terminology, certain meanings, and things like that to kind of add some clarity to the things that we say and the things that we're discussing. So this might be kind of a basic show for, some of the audience, but for some, this is going to be kind of more of an informative thing more than anything else. So this is definitely for our fellas. As I say previously, I definitely encourage women to listen, but most of it is primarily for fellas. So let's get started. All right, so some of the terms I want to discuss. I want to discuss red pill versus blue pill. I want to get into toxic masculinity. I want to get into MGTOW, men going their own way. I also want to get into the term incel. And the last one and the most popular one is simp. So these are the terms we're going to get into this one. And then as future episodes pop up, whenever we feel the need to kind of address other terms that's coming up and people are asking us about, then we'll go ahead and address those too. So to start, I want to start out with red pill versus blue pill. And the reason being is that you're going to hear us say this a lot throughout our shows. And it's very important to understand not only the difference, because it even though it's sort of self-explanatory, it's kind of not. And if any of you guys are the fans of The Matrix, you kind of understand to some degree what that means and what that is. But I want to kind of get into it a little more so you can have a much better understanding, especially how society kind of paints the picture of those two terms. So I'm going to start out with blue pill. Now, I actually looked up blue pill and red pill online in various outlets. So I'm going to read the blue pill term that I found under the urbandictionary.com. It says, taking the easy way out, choosing to ignore the harsh reality and live in blissful ignorance. That's important because I think with a lot of us men nowadays, we are not aware, or we choose to not be aware of how having the dating strategies and the viewpoints of women that we used to have, or we were told back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and so forth. With the event of social media and a lot of other outlets, those things have changed, and I think a lot of us aren't aware of it, especially those that are like really into relationships, that's looking for a wife, that's looking for the quote-unquote American dream. And one of the problems that comes with having the blue pill ideology is that it makes you ignorant towards the decisions that you're making, and also the way that those decisions can affect you when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to marriage, and then just in dealing with women in general. And I think it's important to understand that we have to shift from that as men. We have to kind of understand female nature. We have to understand accountability, not just for women, but for ourselves as well. And we have to understand that things are definitely different. So, Jay, you want to kind of elaborate on how you feel about blue pill, considering, things that you've gone through, like what's your feelings on it? How do you define it? Let's start with that.
I guess I used to be more like that, more accommodating all through what I guess you could call a one-sided relationship, where I was the one giving everything emotionally, financially, support, everything, and not really getting anything in return, but continuing the fight because I think, I can change the situation, I can change the dynamic. She'll come around. Being a nice guy pays off, and no.
That's just like no.
Am I saying this is absolute? Am I saying that I'm a bastard now or El Diablo? No, I'm not by any means. I'm still the same person, but I'm much faster now when the dynamic is one-sided. And when I sense the dynamic is one-sided, usually I end it rather abruptly. So, but I still believe in clean slates. I still believe in viewing women as individuals, even though I'm seldom viewed as an individual as a man.
How about it?
But once I hear or see behavior that is familiar or what we would call a red flag, I'm out. If it can't be explained, I'm out.
So give me a recent example for you. Of that. What's the difference between old Jay and current Jay?
I mean, I'll just give you just in the beginning of interactions when you're on these dating apps and things of that nature. Man. You meet someone that's nice. It's like you're texting and she's texting. You're calling and she's calling. And all of a sudden you're the only one texting. You're the one calling. You're the only one concerned about the other person's day. The energy is one-sided. And then, because I'm aware of that now, I stop. And then days later, if not a week later, I usually get, hey, what happened? I was like, well, I thought that the energy had shifted and that you weren't interested, so I stopped contacting you. Oh, no, not at all. I just was busy. Okay, you were busy for an entire week? Because I know I contacted you or reached out to you. At least, I'm not going to do it every day when I say, but at least every day to see if you're still alive. And if I don't get anything back in return, I'm going to fall back because clearly your energy is somewhere else. And that's fine. I'm not going to be one of these dudes that's insecure with himself and on my chismo bullshit where I feel like I own you because we have an interaction. I'm going to chase you and hound you. Like, no.
Yeah, that goes into that.
No, there are more than 4.7 billion on the planet. If you're not interested in me, I'm out. Yeah, it really is that simple. I'm never going to be the dude where it's like either me or nobody else or whatever craziness that a lot of people who have clear issues with themselves say to women. If the energy's not there, if I'm not getting energy that I put out, I'm going. It's that simple. Because clearly I am wasting my time and I do not have time to waste.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes into what we'll discuss a little later, which is toxic masculinity. We'll get into that shortly, but it goes into that. I think also just when it comes to red pill ideology, I think men just need to be aware of the fact that a lot of times the way that we used to look at things when it comes to dating and women is not the same anymore. I think we have to understand that some women have a very, very toxic mindset when it comes to what they're looking for in a man and what they expect you. I wouldn't even say it's toxic. Sometimes it's just selfish.
No, you can say toxic.
I'm going to get into that because that goes into
toxicity and ego are not owned and trademarked by men.
Yeah.
Let's stop that.
Yeah, well,
because most of the time when I hear the word ego, don't hurt his ego, don't bruise his ego. Stop it. Stop. I took psychology for 2 years in college. That goes to both sexes. Both sexes have egos. They both of them do. Both sexes can be extremely toxic. One of those sexes competes with people who they don't even know, fashion-wise.
How about it? I mean, and I guess we'll address toxic masculinity now since we're kind of there, which I find very interesting, and I'll get into it. It all kind of ties into the red pill ideology, but I'll get into toxic masculinity now since we addressed it. So I'm looking it up right now, and I'm going to read one of the definitions I found, which is, I find this whole term very interesting. In social sciences, toxic masculinity refers to traditional cultures, masculine norms that can be harmful to men, women, and society overall. This concept of toxic masculinity is not intended to demonize men or male attributes, but rather emphasize the harmful effects of conformity to traditional masculine ideal behaviors such as dominance, self-reliance, and competition. Toxic masculinity, thus defined by adherence to traditional male gender roles that consequently stigmatize and limit the emotions boys and men may comfortably express while elevating other emotions such as anger. It is marked by economic, political, and social expectations that men seek and achieve dominance, the alpha male. Now, the reason why I think this definition is very important for two reasons. One, because in actuality, most of the other definitions that I've looked up when it comes to this term really doesn't even go into this detail. It just really just goes into behavior. It just really kind of dumbs it down to behavior that's attributed to men that's considered toxic to women in culture. So here's my issue with this. Okay, there's two issues I have with this, which is goes into the other explanation. As Brother Jay said, toxic behavior is not exclusive to one gender. It's not.
Like murder.
It's not, right? It's
like abuse.
It's not
like
exclusive.
Violence, like theft. Because you have a lot of people who really think that every evil trait is owned and copyrighted by only men. And I say, I'm sorry, do you have a women's prison in your state? And they say yes. And I'll ask again, do you have a woman prison and or a women's section of a prison in your state? Yes. So are you still sticking to your original story? Okay. Continue.
And I think in this particular definition, when it speaks of competition, self-reliance, dominance, or achieving dominance, that there's nothing toxic in that if channeled the right way. Now, I think of course there's going to be some guys out there that kind of channel this in a more aggressive kind of way to where they're aggressive towards women. But hell, to be honest, there's women that are being taught very toxic behavior also. No, it's not physically aggressive, but it still can cause problems for men. Not being honest, lying, trying to maneuver and finesse their way into men's pockets. It's other things that go along with that. And I feel like I find it very convenient when men have certain behaviors and certain traits. It's considered toxic masculinity, but there is no term called toxic femininity. It doesn't exist.
Nope.
It absolutely does not exist. And I think as men nowadays, and here's the reality, men nowadays, we need to start learning to be that way, to start being a little bit more dominant, a little more self-reliant, because we're not. We're like, I'm going to keep it 100. We're not. We, for some reason, in today's society, we see a lot of men acting very feminine. A lot of men looking very feminine. A lot of men...
That's a whole nother show right
there. Yeah. So and we have a lot of men that are not successful or not even trying to be or achieve a certain level of success. We have a lot of men that cower and have an issue with competition. Hell, I'll even be honest. I'm not the most competitive person in the world, but there are certain things I will be competitive with. There's certain things that I don't like to lose. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Now, if you're, and the other term that came up in there, which I think is very interesting, is alpha male, which I know me and Jay look at alpha male slightly different.
I don't like the term because a lot of times when I hear the term alpha male, it erupts from someone who's an asshole. and they mistake that their abrasive, machismo behavior for strength. And often that person that is, when that card is pulled, that alpha male shit goes right out the window. That's just been my experience. I've met people who are strong and domineering, and I would just say that's just a strong dude. I would say he's a leader. But that alpha and beta shit, I know betas that'll slit your throat. So I just feel like there's no way you can call somebody a beta and not insult them. It's impossible.
Oh well,
because
I
most
agree.
of the time when you hear the term, I've been called betas many times before, and that's your opinion and you're entitled to it with no problem. But there's no way you're going to label somebody either alpha or a beta and it not be an insult, because I feel like the term beta is derogatory and it's insulting. It's impossible. It's like calling your grandma a piece of shit. You can't call Nana a piece of shit and say I'm just joking. It's not going to happen.
So all right,
that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, this is kind of where we agree, but we don't. So I agree with you in the sense that beta is definitely a negative term
every time.
Beta, and
every time.
I think it's designed for that.
And most of the time when I've heard it said in the streets, it has led to violence.
Yeah,
it has immediately led to violence. Like, I'm a beta. Let's see if I'm a beta. And guess what? The alpha lost most of the time because he watched too many movies about The Rock.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the alphas part. The alphas part, the issue or the problem that comes with that is one thing to claim yourself to be alpha. But most of the time, if you are really an alpha male, you don't have to say it. Most dudes that are saying it, or most guys that are trying to act like they are, it's exactly that. It's
correct.
An act. It's an act.
It's like intelligent people don't have to keep telling you they're intelligent.
Right.
The two smartest guys I know on the planet never say, hey, you know I'm an intelligent guy, right? They don't.
Right.
Most nice people, nice attractive women, don't have to keep saying I'm a nice girl.
Right.
Because that personality, that charm radiates from them all the time. So everyone knows, oh, I wouldn't do that to her, or she's awesome because she's a nice person. Yeah. Or he's a nice person. But people that always proclaim and constantly project verbally what they are constantly, usually you're not. Usually. Yeah. That's just, I'm only 44 years old, I could be wrong. But that's usually the case. So that has been my experience no matter where I've traveled, no matter what industry I've been in. When it comes to the alpha and beta thing, that has always been my experience. The guy that's spewing that alpha jargon and alpha bravado doesn't cash the check. I've seen that maybe cashed one time. I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about in general. What you're saying, you're not projecting. Mm-hmm. That's just been my experience. I could be wrong. If there are alphas and betas that want to debate that, comment below. I don't really care if you disagree with me. That's just how I roll. I really hate that terminology because every time I've seen it, from the block to the boardroom, it's always been bullshit. Every single time.
Yeah, and I mean, I used to feel that way. I've grown to have a different understanding and take on it, primarily because of the fact that I think it's important to understand what those traits are. And I think it's important to understand that some of those things you want to reflect because it's good to reflect it, and some of the things are bad to reflect because you don't want to, or you shouldn't. Betas are definitely a negative term because of the fact that betas are usually followers. They're usually people that don't make good decisions. They follow whoever, whatever.
I would rather be, not to cut you off, I would much rather be called a bitch ass than a beta. And that's just, that's the problem with today, in this, so-called everything hurts everybody, politically correct. And not to go authentically on you, just call me a bitch ass. For real. Call me, and that's how I feel. Call me a bitch ass. Say I don't like you. Don't say, oh, you make me uncomfortable, or you come across. Say, listen, I really can't fucking stand you. I won't like to hear it, but at least your point is solid. It's solid. These little college terms for when you don't like someone, I don't like that. I just come on, man. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't project the same strength as The Rock or Idris Elba, so you're a beta guy. Well, guess what? You couldn't pull that dude anyway. So how about it?
And yeah, exactly.
So how about it?
Exactly. And
you couldn't hand him a Walmart bag.
And here's the part that's really confusing when it comes to that. When it comes to women and dating, and I think this is the part that's important when it comes to red pill awareness. Most women will act as though they want a guy that's sensitive and understanding and caring. And don't get me wrong, I think some women, when they say that, they believe that. But I think what most women are attracted to, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, is the alpha. Not the overly aggressive, I'm going to grab you by your arm type of dude, or I'm going to violate you type of guy.
Oh, he gets played too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't leave him out.
Yeah.
Don't leave him out.
Yeah. I don't.
Choke me, check me, keep me in my place, be abrasive, curse me out. These are things I've heard women say they find endearing.
Oh.
I find it to be a sample of mental illness. It's just how I feel. Fight me if you want on it, but okay.
Oh,
and those people that felt that way, it used to bother me, but now I don't care. Because you're messed up.
Yeah. I mean, I'll even give you an example. I would say in my mid-30s, there was an older woman that I dated for about 7-8 months, something like that.
I remember her.
Yeah, I know you remember her. And she was about maybe, I want to say about 7 or 8 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing about it was, at the time that we met at work. I had just finally ended things with my daughter mom. And what ended up happening was, she was on her alpha shit, her female alpha shit, came to me straight up and was like, yeah, well, listen, I think you're attractive, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to hang out and kick it. You cool with that? I was like, all right, cool, no problem. And I didn't care what she did outside of me. She was straight up, was like, yeah, I date other guys, I do this and that third. I ain't care. Did not care. What slowly started happening was, the less I cared, the more she wanted to spend time with me, to the point she started eliminating guys. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because one of the things that really, really annoyed me, but she loved it, was the fact that even though she was close to 10 years older than me, her behavior sometimes was ridiculous.
Childlike.
Yeah, it was childlike. Just snapping at people, getting attitudes of people over the littlest things. And I would have to check her regularly. Like, almost to the point where I had to be like, bitch, what's wrong with you? And she got off on it. And she got off on it because of the fact that none of the other men, and we talking about dudes that had money, dudes that was taking her on trips, none of these other dudes checked her like that on her behavior, because they were so concerned about getting the ass, catering to her, being in her good graces, that when she exhibited these behaviors, they didn't check her on it. And me, I didn't care. I'm not invested. I'm not trying to make you my woman. And I didn't care about the fact of what she did with these other guys. My whole thing was, if you with me, I am not going to sit there and tolerate that behavior. And I said it just like that. And I know some women are going to be triggered when you use certain words like tolerate. But that's exactly what it was. And she loved it. I mean, to the point where she was eliminating dudes, to the point where she was like, nah, I want you to be my man. I want this, I want that. And I was like, nah, because there's no way I can deal with that behavior on a relationship level. I couldn't.
And this is where Herb and I differ. If you exhibit behavior that is out of pocket, talking greasy, I'm sorry, for the viewers that know, talking aggressive to me when it's unwarranted, giving me attitude when I've done nothing, I'm going to eliminate you. I'm not going to check you. Your dad should have did that, or your mom should have did that. That's just how I feel. Some men find it attractive. Oh, that shows strength and it's attract. I don't find angry women attractive. I deal with angry people all day. I'm a driver. I deal with angry people all day. I don't want that in my queen. To each his own. I'm just letting you know. I'm not going to check you. I'm going to eliminate you. You're going to check and see that I'm not here anymore. Because I'm not feeling that.
Hey, listen, I'll keep it 100 with y'all. The ass was good.
Oh, yeah. Brother,
I'm keeping it 100 for the audience.
They know why you stay. If you're listening to this, chances are you grow. They know why you stay.
Yeah, I mean, it was good.
She snaps. You check it. Y'all get the yams in. Some yamification going on. You piece step one. I don't find that sexy. I got homies that love. Listen, I got at least 5 homies, 6 associates that love that behavior. Teach his own. I'm just telling you what I'm not into.
Yeah, I would never do that long term.
I'm not into.
If it's just
we're not going. That does not make me salute you. That does not entice Jay and the boys. That doesn't bring me. I'm not getting the chubby when you talk to me like that. I'm ready to call my sister in Alabama to have her come see you when you talk to me like that. That's how I feel. Doesn't get my juices flowing. It's just how I feel. Yeah, so 2 different personalities on this show right now. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Herb can, I guess, handle you. Jay's going to cancel you. Probably before the hors d'oeuvres come. The appetizers come.
I mean,
I'm listen, bro. I'm not for it.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm just saying,
GTFO for real.
The point, I guess, getting back to the original thing, the real reason why I brought that up is because I don't care what most women say. I don't. I feel like there are a large number of women that are attracted to masculine men. Sometimes the behavior could be a little over the top and a little much, but most women are attracted to masculine men. I've had so many women over the years tell me why they deal with certain men that they deal with, because they find a lot of those behaviors sexy, even though it gets to a point where it might be a little too much, it might be a little disrespectful, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry, most women like it. And
I've had the same thing. I've had some of my best female friends, models, lawyers, nurses, all types of professions that don't know each other. I like when the dude comes in the room, act like he's on the place. I like when he's cocky. I like when he's aggressive. I like when he snaps on people. I like when he just yields a personality. He's not taking nothing from nobody. Mm-hmm. I like that. I don't mind if he has a little criminal record. I don't mind if he's been in jail before. I don't mind if he's in them streets before, even though she's not. Mm-hmm. And if that's what you feel like at this point in the game, that's perfectly fine. Herb and I don't care anymore. Because we know, especially if they're in them streets, what can happen. My thing is, if you're going to get down with someone, we talked about this before. Yep. If you're going to get down with somebody that has these traits, that dances on borderline abusive.
Meg Thee Stallion.
You know what I mean? We can go down that road. You want to go down that road?
No, I want to get to
all I'm saying is, if his behavior is borderline abusive, abuse is on the menu. Am I saying all dudes that get down like that or like that? No. I know a lot of dudes that like that. But I know a lot of dudes that are the opposite of that too. Mm-hmm. And you have to what do you say? Choices and consequences.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am not in the business. I don't have a daughter, so I'm not in the business of telling any female, any woman what she can and cannot do. All I'm saying is, if you make a decision, remember there are consequences to said decision. Mm-hmm. And that goes right into accountability, which many people, both men and women, lack nowadays.
And I want to say this last point, and then I want to move on to some of the other terms. The biggest thing I think I need us as men to understand and take away from when it comes to masculinity and toxic masculinity is, one, please understand, toxic behavior is not exclusive to just men. Do not let women tell you that shit. Do not let women sit there and tell you, oh, your behavior is toxic. You're just displaying toxic masculinity. You're going to hear a lot of feminists say that. Because what tends to happen is whenever you disagree or you show opposition or whatever your behavior reminds them or triggers them of something, I don't really know what the hell it is, but it does. Men, I need y'all to understand the difference between you being masculine and stand on your masculine frame versus just being a toxic person.
The term is usually thrown out, especially on social media.
Regularly and loosely.
It's usually thrown out when you exhibit behavior that they don't approve of. When you do something that is outside.
Absolutely.
When you do something that is outside of the happy box. Well, such and such, this celebrity does this, and you voice your opinion where you think that's stupid. Or you think that's weak. Like that, I would never say that. That's weak.
Yeah.
Well, you're just being toxic. You're not listen, we're talking about someone neither you or I will probably ever meet or interact with on a regular basis. And I'm telling you, I don't agree with that behavior. I don't agree with most of the behavior of celebrities right now. I think most celebrities are complete idiots, in my opinion. It's a minstrel show for the most part. But the minute you step outside the happy box, that term's thrown out.
Right. And so yeah, you men, fellas, you're gonna hear this a lot. Throughout media, even on the show, you're gonna hear that the word toxic masculinity. Do not fall for it. Do not subscribe to it. The one thing I will say is just make sure you are evaluating yourself and your behavior, and make sure that your behavior is of masculine behavior and you not being toxic, because some men and women are toxic. I want to emphasize that it's not exclusive to one sex. It's not. And it annoys the hell out of me when I hear it every single time I don't agree, or a man doesn't agree with certain things like women are the prize and we ought to chase women and shit like that. When we refer to,
are you giving me some? Are you giving me something worth chasing?
I
do not subscribe.
Right.
I do not subscribe to the philosophy that everybody's a king. That's black. Everybody's a queen. That's black. No.
Yeah, that's another term that's thrown around loosely.
That's thrown around way too loosely.
We'll
and I'm as pro-black as they come, so come for me if you want to. We can go at it anytime you're ready. We're all not. All right. Some of y'all, the way you behave, and I'm going to stand by this till the day I die, don't even deserve to be black. I said it.
Damn. Tell him how you really feel, sir.
That's how I feel. Oh, he's a king. No, he's not. He's a piece of shit.
All right. So I want to get into the next terms of MGTOW, which is men going their own way, and incels. And the reason being is because I was a little surprised by this, because I will tell y'all, I listen to a lot of red pill content on YouTube and podcasts, and I wasn't really aware that my brother Jay really didn't know what MGTOW or men going their own way was.
I thought it was a dish at a Thai restaurant. I was like, man, I had MGTOW. There was some dumplings. MGTOW delicious.
No, yeah. I was very surprised. So first I'm going to address men going their own way. And I think you're going to hear a lot more of that, because I think that's what a lot of men is doing, especially with what you're hearing nowadays as far as divorce, which I've brought up multiple times. Just as far as, family court laws and, laws dealing with children and men having custody or seeing their children, and just domestic violence laws, and just the Me Too movement. It's a lot of things that's going on out here now in this day and age, this society, that is against men, that are not being addressed. And one of the things I found very interesting was the fact that I was watching a podcast. I was watching a YouTube video by the name of a guy named Mediocre Tutorial and Reviews. Highly recommend looking that up. Watching it, his content is great. Brother doing his thing. But one of the things I found very surprising on there was they were talking about toxic masculinity, and one of the things that came up was men's issues. And there was a young lady on there, and one of the things that she had said was, well, what men issues? What issues do men have? And it's crazy because of the fact that because everything is so catered towards women these days. And I know some of y'all are going to disagree, but if you really sit down and logically think about things, There are a lot of things that are catered more towards women than it is towards men nowadays. But the reason why this is relating to MGTOW and men going their own way is because a lot of times men are at a point now where they are foregoing dating. They're foregoing relationships. They're foregoing marriage to just focus on themselves and deal with women on the capacity that they choose to deal with them. And that's what MGTOW really is. It's about men going their own way, focusing on themselves, and choosing to deal with women on the level that they want to, which most of the time means, no, as Coach Grad Adams would say, and again, that's another brother that influences me greatly. I highly recommend looking him up on YouTube. He pretty much says no cohabitation, no dating, no marriage. And a lot of men are subscribing to that nowadays because of the fact that there's too many risks and dangers involved when it comes to women because of these different, the feminist movement, Me Too movement, a whole bunch of other things that is we as men have to be mindful of and may either have to deal with and face. And you'll see a lot of YouTube content, a lot of podcasts where women and even blue pill men, you're going to have some blue pill men that's just going to be like straight up, this is wrong, this is bad. And, those men are incels, which is the next term I'm going to get into. Those men are incels. They're just like that because they're mad and they're bitter and they can't get women and things like that. And to that's what incels are. And if you're speaking of incels, then that's exactly what you're talking about. Incels are men that are celibate involuntarily, meaning that they're celibate because they can't get women, or they're not a high value man, or they just don't have access, or because they're just so socially messed up that women don't deal with them. And it's important to distinguish the difference between MGTOW and incel because they tend to be joined together. And that's kind of the misconception when it comes to that. A lot of the men that are toxic, that quote unquote toxic, most of those are incels. And the problem is you have a select number of men that are in the red pill community that are incels. The thing that I find very interesting about red pill in general is when you look up the definition of red pill, most of the definitions you're going to find are going to refer to a movement against women or a cult, which is crazy to me. It's crazy. And most of those people that are of that movement, according to most definitions that are written by women, are incels. And I need you guys to educate yourself to realize that is not the case. But I do believe that, and I don't know if Jay's going to agree with me or disagree. In actuality, I think every man should have a point in their life, at one point in their life, when they are MGTOW.
I had that point already. After my divorce, I wasn't signing up for nobody. So, I agree with you. I don't think it should take a traumatic event, but I think you should definitely get to a point where you put yourself first.
Yeah.
And I think that's the basis of what that Chinese dish is saying.
The Chinese dish.
Yeah, I think you should definitely have a point where the focus is you, your goals, your finances, your life. Because many of us have put those to the side and not focused heavily enough on those goals, and it cost us dearly because we were putting too much emphasis on pleasing the woman or changing ourselves for the woman.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm all for improving yourself, but I'm for improving yourself for you. For you. If the benefits is your popularity increases, your attractiveness increases, that's great. But do it for you, brothers. For yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, when it comes to incels, one of the issues with incels is they don't want to put in the work. They want women to just...
They're damaged, bro. They're just...
Yeah.
Call space paid. They're damaged.
Yeah, they're damaged. Right. I agree. We
can move on. They're just weirdos. I don't even... I'm not dominating the show because we're a team effort. I don't want to spend so much time. You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo.
He's just a weirdo.
Because you're going to just give up on women when you ain't been nowhere but like Cleveland.
He hates incels, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't hate nobody. Well, maybe that bowl of jello in the White House, but like there's other continents. All you gotta do is show up and be a dude that's from America, and you can get a little bit of play.
Nah,
you know what I mean? Do something with yourself, fam.
There's some people, there's some men that really just they don't want to do the work to better themselves, and that's usually what it comes down to.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Losers.
So to kind of wrap that up, and as far as just red pill, because I know we were supposed to get into that earlier, but we got into toxic masculinity. I'm going to real quick read the definition of red pill, at least the one that I found that wasn't talking about a damn cult. Red pill refers to becoming enlightened to the truth about reality, especially a truth that is difficult to accept or exposes disillusion. So, gentlemen, that definition is very important because of the fact that the blue pill, as it is currently right now, is the difficult reality that we as men really need to start breaking away from. And for some of us, it's hard. We need to have, and I'm not telling you guys that all men should go 100% red pill, because I think it is not for everybody. Not everybody can be completely red pill. I don't consider myself completely red pill. I consider myself having red pill awareness, which means that I'm much more aware of the realities when it comes to myself as a man, the expectations that I have for myself as a man, for society may or may not have for me as a man, and also I understand and accept the nature of women and the fact that hypergamy is real. Most women care more about status than anything else. You have to maintain a certain standard for yourself to make yourself desirable for women. And the reality is that us as men, we need to value ourselves much more highly than we do, because red pill ideology tells you to do so and blue pill tells you not to. And again, I'm not really knocking certain things of it, but it's just, as Jay said many a times, in 2020, the shit is combat ineffective. Point blank.
Yeah, I come from a southern home where, you know, you put your lady first in all things, and I was taught growing up as a man that you're arguing with your lady, just let her win the discussion, and she's always right, and you know, take a lot of stuff on the chin, and you know, happy wife, happy life, and no. Is my desire to be with someone that I can make happy? Yes, but will her opinion be 100% right all the time? No. Will we have a difference of opinion? Yes. Will I voice that opinion? Hell yeah. And if I'm not able to, then we have an issue. Am I all red pill? No, I'm still learning. Herb is much well versed in the red pill, blue pill philosophies. I am still a student of it, but I am seeing some good principles to implement in my life. That's all I can say about that.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
All right. So the last term we are going to get into before we end this show is the most popular one. Simp.
Yeah.
Let me read what is on dictionary.com for the word simp. And then we're going to get into it because of the fact that I think overall Jay and I have a very universal view of it. But I think there are some aspects of it me and him may differ. I'm not 100% sure.
That's what I used to do.
All right. Simp is a slang insult for men who are seen as too attentive and submissive to women, especially out of a failed hope of winning some entitled sexual attention or activity from them. I'm going to repeat the last part. Especially out of a failed hope of winning some entitled sexual attention or activity from the woman.
Missed it by that much.
Simp. Simp is real. It comes under a whole bunch of different terms, male feminists, white knights, blah, blah, blah. But simping is fucking real. Gentlemen, I need y'all to not be simps. I'm going to repeat. I need y'all to not be simps. And to be honest, I think all of us at one point in time in our lives as men have been simps.
Oh, yeah.
The problem really stems from, are you aware? Do you realize that this said behavior makes you pretty much look like a pussy? And I think men are getting better at it now, but I think we still don't understand that not being a simp or not doing the things that this definition said is very important. Don't get me wrong, fellas. Being attentive is not totally a bad thing. Being submissive is totally a bad thing. I don't give a rat's ass nobody say. Being submissive to your woman completely is a bad thing. Having a certain level of compromise, it's not really a bad thing. Being completely submissive, bad. Please hear me. The reason it's bad is because the reality is, and I'm pretty sure some women are going to disagree, but as men, we see it.
Of course they're going to disagree, because a completely submissive man benefits them.
Right.
Submissive with his opinion, his mannerisms, his bank account, his stocks, his property. Hell yeah. Give me all that.
A woman that respects you is more important than a woman that loves you. I'm going to repeat that. A woman that respects you is more important than a woman that loves you. The reason being is that women will be more submissive to a man they respect. They can love you, but if they see you are weak, if you are not handling your business, if you're not giving masculine energy, if you're not being a man.
By the definition. Because they never, let me jump in.
Go ahead, bro.
It's never defined as to what a man is, but that definition changes upon the individual. So if what she is raised upon is a standard of manhood that you may be completely oblivious to, especially if she's not sharing that with you, and you step out of that criteria, you are no longer respected. You're already dead. Plan the funeral by the suit.
I mean, and for me, even if you're not aware of what her definition of a man is in particular, the fact of the matter is that we can't always be on some shit like, I'll do anything for my woman. I'll accept anything from my woman. We can't always do that. We can't. And
yeah, that was me when I was married. That ended horribly.
Yeah, like you can't.
I can speak on that from experience.
I mean,
that ended horribly.
I've been like that in a few of my relationships, and at the end of the day, I got cheated on. Shit, I'm calling it is. Got cheated on.
So did I.
Yeah, because that respect is important. It's very, very fucking important. And when you're being a simp, when a woman see they can walk all over you, when a woman see they can get anything from you, when a woman see that you'll cater to whatever they do, even though some of the shit they do, they know is fucked up. And you'll be like, it's okay, honey. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to end up leaving you for Chad Tyrone. This is not me being angry and bitter. This is fucking facts. I've had to learn this lesson the hard way. Jay has learned this lesson.
Oh yeah,
this is reality.
Jay
This is this.
Tony Rich in the video with some socks and the rain, and nobody knows it with me. I learned it.
And fellas, understand this: if you have that unicorn, if you know you have that rare woman that truly, honestly believes in that, and she truly respects the fact that you are this sensitive person, that you share your feelings with them and things like that.
She's probably
that's
not American.
Cool.
she's probably not American.
You know what I mean? But
let me she's probably not from the Northeast.
Not from the Northeast.
And I really don't care if you don't like what I'm saying, but I'm just saying.
But like, if you find that cool, but please understand and be aware that the majority of women, they don't like it. I don't care what they tell you. Women stay with men they respect.
Once she loses respect for you, it is over.
Dead man walking.
It's over. You may not even be aware you're dead yet. But you've already been kissed by the Italian hitman. Shout out to my Italian brothers. You've already been kissed by the Italian hitman. He's walked away, and you're going about your day. And the music in the show or the movie has changed, and you're unaware. And we all know what happens when the music in the movie change. You know what's going to happen in the mob movie.
About to take that L.
Exactly.
About to take that L. So I mean, we're very. I'm giving you a very dumbed down conversation when it comes to being a simp. Because simps.
Oh, let me give y'all credit. Unless she's a real woman, and she's actually able to tell you to your face, listen, I've lost respect for you. It's a wrap. Good luck finding that.
Right.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, a lot of women that claim to be this, I'm the realist and I'm strong and I'm that, don't have the cojones or the ovaries, yeah, I said it, to tell you to your face, listen, this ain't working, it's over, I don't respect you right now. At the point of impact.
Right.
Point of impact was Tuesday, January 15th. It is now September. You've been dead a long time, player.
And to give you some idea how important and fucked up that is at the same time, you know, you have a lot of feminists that really talk about equality, this, that, and the third. Okay, men, you know, equality for women. And to be honest, I'm all about equality for women, but a lot of times at the expense of men. But what tends to happen is these feminists, they don't date male feminists. They don't date overly sensitive men. Because even feminists don't find that shit attractive. Guess who they end up dating?
Assholes.
They'll end up either on the fucked up spectrum of it, assholes. But even on a non-fucked up scale, they're dating dominant, masculine men that they respect. So I need y'all to chew on that for a minute. I need y'all to really chew on that and understand it's too easy to be simps. It's too many things that is encouraging men to be fucking simps. And we need to not do that. We need to understand that it is important for us to be on our masculine frame. It's important for us to understand that we as men need to be respected and we need to earn that respect. And at the same time, you can't be overly sensitive and overly giving emotionally when it comes to women. I'm not telling y'all to be selfish assholes. Please understand that. But it has to be a line. It has to be a point where it's like, okay, I'm listening to her. I'm building this relationship. But at the same time, there's certain shit I'm just not going to be cool with. There's certain things that I require as a man in order for this to work. It can't be a one-sided thing because most of the time, simps are willing to make their relationship and their situation one-sided.
For the GED people in the room, is the energy you're giving out being reciprocated? Are you the only one giving in any capacity? Any capacity. Period. And I hate to say period because I hate that damn that gives you too much. But are you the only one giving? If the energy is not being reciprocated and you're staying, you are simping hard, and she knows it, and she's going to exploit it.
Especially when
you are that one gazelle that can't keep up with the flock, and she's a lioness. You're not going to make it.
Especially when she's made it abundantly clear she's not into you.
Oh yeah,
she's not attracted to you, or you have no shot of getting ass.
Stop.
You have no shot.
Abort mission. Walk away. Don't call her out her name, because 10 seconds ago you was on you was on her top, as they say.
Right.
So don't call her a bitch now, because you was on top 10 seconds ago. Walk away. There are another 3.7 billion women on the planet. Somebody's out there for you, Playboy. Just not her.
Yep. So
change states. How about that?
Yeah.
Hop a Greyhound. Go down south, where they offer you sweet tea.
I guess my experience.
I know.
Anyway, that's a whole nother show. Anyway, we're going to end it there. Fellas and ladies, feel free to comment. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section.
You can yell. We don't care.
If there's any other terminology, things you want us to go over in the future, definitely let us know. Like I said earlier, we're probably going to do episodes like this periodically, especially when I see that there's certain things that comes up that me or Jay may say and that might need to be addressed because of the fact that, hey, what does that mean? Or, hey, I've heard y'all say this, but I don't really understand the terminology or whatever. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Jay, anything you want to say in closing, bro?
No, it was a good show. Good show. Just stop simping, man. I've been there before. I've been there many times. Please, just stop. Stop.
Stop simping.
Stop.
We out.